Welcome everybody back to the final Fast and Fun video of 2022. And in this video, I'm going to take a look back at all the cars I've reviewed over the past 12 months to pick out my best, the top three, my Fast and Fun car of the year. If I could only have one, which one would it be to add to my collection of affordable sports cars outside? So I'm going to reveal what I think are my favourite three, and I'm also going to do a special nomination as well for if I didn't have any car, any sports car, and I could only have one, what one would that car be? This year, 15 in total I've reviewed, ranging from cars worth only 2,000 or 3,000 all the way up to 50,000. Cars with 120 brake horsepower all the way up to 750 brake horsepower. Four-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. Hatches, saloons, estates, roadsters, everything's been done. It's been a fabulous year. So let me reveal to you what I think of my top three Fast and Fun car of the year. Well, first of all, just a quick reminder at the 15 or 14 cars that I reviewed during 2022. The first car I viewed was the heavily modified Mark III Megane RS250. I've included that in the group because it was so far removed from my standard RS250. This car had been remapped to 320 brake horsepower, stripped out for weight, and had a whole host of different mods on the car to make it the ultimate Mark III driving machine. But it did show that making such a track-focused car does come with trade-offs. Noise, vibration, etc., creature comforts, the pain of using 4- and 5-point harnesses in a road car. Next up was the GR Yaris with some subtle Litchfield modifications. 3-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, modern day STI type of car. It was huge fun, hugely capable, and it didn't seem to have any chinks really. Yes, the driving position wasn't great, and it was just, well, it made driving fast on B roads almost too easy. But what a hugely capable car. Next up was the Audi RS6 Avant, specifically the C6, the V10 powered Audi RS6. A 2-ton family estate car should never move as quick as this did. It had been remapped to over 700 horsepower. The mid-range acceleration was mind-boggling. The speed that was just relentless, way beyond in licence-losing territory. It was just an incredible car, but it also had incredibly high running costs to do with maintenance and the way it drank fuel. After that came the E93 BMW M3. The V8 powered M3. For me, the engine and gearbox together were a revelation. I'm so used to V8s being torquey, low down. This revving at over 8,000 revs in a V8. It's a truly phenomenal engine. And mated to, well, it makes you rethink about manuals because that DCT gearbox, the Tiptronic gearbox, was phenomenal when it was mated to that V8 car. Absolute great, wonderful M3. And I suppose the negative with the M3 was there's probably just too many of them about. They just don't look special enough for me. Well, if the M3 E93 wasn't special enough, the 4th generation Megane RS Trophy R definitely was. Limited to about 30 in the UK, this limited edition Megane RS was an incredible car. The lengths that Renault went to, the microscopic details to create a 2-seater, 4-door hatch into this track-focused weapon. The detail that Renault, the micro changes that they've made, your hats off to Renault to go to that length. But that exclusivity comes at a huge financial cost because they are very expensive cars. Next up was the Honda Civic Type R, the latest version, the FK8. When that car parked on the drive, the styling made my Impreza Blob I STI seem subtle. It was all fins, scoops, all over the car. It was so in your face, such a capable car. It did everything so well. There was nothing it couldn't do. And I suppose ultimately that was the one thing that it just didn't quite lack. It wasn't best at any one thing. It was just a brilliant all-round car. Next up in the summer came the Porsche Cayman S, the 987 Gen 2, 3.4 litre flat 6-cylinder engine. If people want to know what steering feel is, if people want to know what perfect weight distribution is, drive one of those. Absolutely stunning driving machine. And I suppose the negative, as always with the Cayman, there was a few little niggles. The clutch was heavy, the gearbox a little bit notchy. But ultimately, is it a 911? Will it ever be as good as a 911? Porsche just won't let that ever happen, and that'll always eat at the back of you. After the Cayman was the Clio 172 Phase 1, but I'm going to exclude that because it was too similar to my own Clio 182. Next up was the BMW Z4, specifically the E85. That car, the Roadster, great value. And never before, when I did the head-to-head with the previous generation Z3, it was just so evident how BMW had improved on the Z3 in every single area. And it really led to me deciding to let the Z3 go. The Z4 was just better than the Z3 in every respect. But ultimately, it just wasn't, I don't think, the best Roadster I drove all year. And so, yeah, although it was a great car, it's just wasn't the best Roadster. And then came the bad Honda Civic Type R EP3 Turbo. So this turbo-charged K20 Civic Type R, what an absolute animal. Never have I been more scared on the public road than I was when I drove that car. The ferocious acceleration, 380 horsepower through the front wheels, the torque steer, the way it delivered with a big wallop of turbo lag, the whoosh of that turboed K20, accelerating you at ridiculous speed. But, well, I suppose the negative there is, well, the good part was I survived. The negative is I just felt that if I owned that car, I'd end up going backwards into the nearest hedge. Next up was the mighty Audi RS7. This four-door, four-seater, 4-litre twin-turbo saloon, remapped to 750 brake horsepower. It just starts redefining what acceleration speed means. This thing was just incredible. A blip of the accelerator and you're beyond legal speeds. This is licence losing all the time. The negative with the RS7, I suppose, is you're just a bit too far removed. You've just got to have so much self-control. It was just ultimately, for me, too fast for the public road. Next up was the Volkswagen Polo GTI, specifically the 6N2. What a car. They absolutely loved stunning, both inside and out, and were a definite game changer, moving the mini hatches into a category above where the 106 and Saxo VTS cars had been, but ultimately lacked that power, lacked that drivability that those cars and later cars like the Clio 172s deliver. Then came the new, later Volkswagen Golf GTI, the Mark 7.5. Beautiful to look at, brilliantly made, brilliantly put together. This came with the DSG Tiptronic gearbox. It was a joy to drive. It was quick enough, it was fast enough, it was engaging enough. Everything about the car was really, truly rounded. But ultimately, I just got out, not excited. I just didn't feel part of the action. It was just a little bit boring. Then came the Mini Cooper, the F55, the quirky five-door, the five-door hatch. Not the S. I wanted to try a Cooper at the level that sits in the middle of the Cooper range. Competent, great practicality. But again, that not having that S performance, not having that extra performance, just made this more lukewarm rather than proper hot hatch material. And then finally, at the end of the year, I got my hands on the F20 BMW 125 diesel M Sport. Rear wheel drive, hot hatch fun, doing what other hot hatchers can't. The ability to step the back out because it's rear wheel drive. The problem is, and with the M Sport, it looks smart, it looks good, it looks modern, it looks refreshed. But ultimately, I just struggled to get past that diesel clatter, the lack of revs, the lack of any sort of noise, just detracted from what could have been a super sports car. So they are the 14 or 15 cars that I've reviewed. Now I'm going to reveal my top three. And in third place was a car that I was massively excited to drive, and because it's such a special, exclusive car. Officially, I think it was 28 or 30 came into the UK, and it was the fourth generation Megane RS Trophy R. More so with regard to what Renault have done, what Renault Sport have taken, the extremes they have taken to remove, I think it was 130 kilos from the standard RS Trophy. The removal of the back seats, the carbon bonnet, the titanium exhaust. On paper, the Trophy R doesn't look incredible. It's relatively modest, 1.8 turbo, 300 horsepower. It's not going to set the pulses racing, especially when you look at the cost, somewhere between 40 and 50,000 for one of these cars. But what you do get is exclusivity. What you do get is massive rarity. These cars need to be used. These cars need to be enjoyed. My concern, I suppose, with these is that they'll just get bought by collectors who will put them away and never use them. And that will be an absolute tragedy, because these cars are fabulous cars. I only scratched at the surface on the public road. They were designed for the track. The ability to switch from a standard seatbelt into a 4-point harness. Everything that Renault have done needs to be applauded. And the world and the automotive industry is a better place for cars like the RS Trophy are existing. Whether they're worth 40 to 50k today is questionable. Whether the ones with the carbon wheels back in when they were brand new were worth 72k was questionable. But in the future, there's one thing for sure: they will only become more exclusive and more desirable. And for me, I would love to add one of those into the garage, and that's why I've put it at my number 3. At number 2 is the Audi RS6 Avant, the C6 V10 turbo car. Let's say this was remapped to just over 700 horsepower. Sports car, probably not, but Uber estate, most definitely. The cars very rarely feel this special. 2-ton cars especially. The way the car could pick up speed, really pretty much any revs, any speed, and the horizon and the sides, your peripheral vision just becomes a blur. License losing, absolutely. Quicker than needed, absolutely. But you just have to applaud Audi for making cars like this. When we go into the EV generation of cars coming, these cars, just the noise of that V10, absolutely fabulous. A work of art, a work of automotive pureness that just oozes you to go that little bit further and that little bit further again. Yes, it will have exceedingly high running costs. The brakes, the tyres, and God forbid anything goes wrong with that V10 engine. But hats off, Audi. The world is a better place with having experienced a V10 Audi RS6. And again, how I would have loved to own one of those to go in the garage. And so I come down to my number one. In truth, my top three, in fact, my top 4, 5, 6, kept going round and round and round. But I plumped for a car for me that gave me pure driver enjoyment. A car, perfect weight distribution. A car that if you could only sample one car on a given day, gave you everything you needed to. And ultimately, I have to go for the Porsche Cayman S 987 Gen 2. A car for me that gave me pure driver enjoyment. A car, perfect weight distribution. A car that if you could only sample one car on a given day, gave you everything you needed to. And ultimately, I have to go for the Porsche Cayman S 987 Gen 2. Everything about the car, I love the way it looks. I love the mid-engine, flat six, 320 brake horsepower. It gives you that perfect weight distribution. It's that perfect amount of power. You can argue when cars get to 400, 500, 600 horsepower, it becomes a waste on the road. That 320 horsepower is absolutely optimum. It's great on track as well. The gearbox, nice and notchy, a little bit heavy on the clutch, but the steering was a delight. It's even got the practicality of having both luggage space in the front and behind as well. It really is the ultimate driving car. And if you can get over any issues about it not being a 911, do you know what? I've not driven a 911. Maybe 2023 will bring that opportunity. But at the moment, I don't think I've missed it, because that Cayman S for me gave me the ultimate driving enjoyment. And that's why I've put it as my fast and fun car of the year for 2022. But I said at the start that I wanted to do one special award, because it's very easy for me to sit here with 5 or 6 cars in the garage and pick that Uber estate car or that Porsche Cayman S or the Megane RS Trophy R. But they're all very specialist cars, difficult to use on a day-to-day basis, certainly as a single car. So I thought, if you're there and you need one car to do everything, what would I pick? Well, where the other discussion was difficult between the Cayman, the RS6, Trophy R, very, very close. This one was quite clear. The car looks fabulous. It's spacious, it's quick, it does everything so, so well. And it is a clear winner. If you've only got one car, you buy the Honda Civic Type R FK8. It does everything you ever need a road car to do. It would be good for track as well. It's got the space, it's got the practicality, it's got the build quality, it's got the affordability. And for me, it is my car of the year if you've only got one car to have. There we go. That concludes the video. That concludes all my videos for 2022. I hope you've enjoyed the journey that we've been on. The channel continues to grow. I don't know what 2023 will bring. Let's hope more cars, more fast fun on the roads and on track. And I hope you continue to watch it. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing, watching, liking the videos. Please continue, and I'll see you all in the new year for 2023. Thanks for watching.